Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. We'll chant from verse number 5 to 10.
न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा भूतभावनः यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यम् वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते
I think somebody is waiting. Leena, who is Leena?
They're joining in Michi. It's taken a little time.
So last week we concluded with verse number 6. As the mighty wind moving everywhere rests ever in space, even so know that all beings rest in me. So it's a simile. So just as mighty wind, its resting place is space. Space houses the wind. Similarly, the entire world, the pluralistic phenomena of this world, all the objects and beings of the world, they rest in supreme reality. Brahman is the Sanskrit word for supreme reality. So since the whole world rests in Brahman, you and I are part of that world. There has to be a constant memory of supreme reality. So that's the main message here. So when we say constant memory, it is principle of attachment. You become what you think. So we are using that word in a specific way. So if your thoughts are constantly going towards Brahman, supreme reality, you will start putting efforts to get there. and it will conclude, your pursuit will conclude by merging with that supreme reality. So that's the reason there are so many prayers, festivals, and rituals in all faiths. It's a reminder. Prayer is nothing but a reminder, that attunement to the thought of reality. And same principle applies for study and reflection. Yes, prayer is a reminder, it's a powerful reminder. But then on day-to-day basis, you need to work on your desires. And only through your daily consistent study and reflection, you can change the quality of your desires to begin with. Like from gross worldly desires, so with spiritual practices, with your study and reflection, slowly these desires, they are eliminated, and you start entertaining finer desires. And eventually those finer desires are also removed through your study and reflection, and it brings you to a point of meditation. And the last few desires are removed in meditation. But it starts with the reminder that you are that truth, you are that reality. So that reminder has to be daily. So those who are relatively devotional, prayer is a powerful tool, but it's just a reminder. Just by praying, your thoughts are not going to change. It's you remind yourself every day, maybe a few times in a day. But you need to get on with your daily study and reflection of the scriptures. That alone can change the quality of your desires and eventually eliminate all your desires. So there is an appeal in verse number 6 to exercise this choice. So these are the main points in verse number 6. So let's move on to verse number 7.
सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्.
Now, last week I mentioned to note down the thought flow from verse number 7 to 10. So very interesting thought flow. Step by step, he is going to take us from the basic concept to the ultimate truth. So in verse number 7 and 8, he takes, the Supreme Reality takes full responsibility of the creation. I created this world of objects and beings. I generate beings. That's what it says. In verse number 9, he withdraws. There's a partial withdrawal. He takes partial responsibility of the creation. So he says, I animate them, but I am neutral. And in verse number 10, absolutely no responsibility. He says, I do nothing. So if you see world, it is your problem. There is no world. There is no snake in the rope. If you are seeing a snake, it is your problem. It's not a problem of a rope. But step by step, he is educating us. So coming back to the translation of verse number 7, O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, at the end of Kalpa, time cycle, all beings enter my Prakriti. At the beginning of a Kalpa, I bring them forth again. So Kalpa is a huge time cycle. It runs into billions of years. It could be 5 billion, it could be 10 billion, it could be 20 billion. It's a concept. So he is talking about the macrocosmic manifestation and unmanifestation of the universe, which we clearly see. So many documentaries which support what he is saying. That we see all these stars are born, all these galaxies, they are born. But one day they're going to die. So the whole thing is going to dissolve. That's what it means. So this creation, all these galaxies, they last for a kalpa, for billions of years. But eventually they dissolve. Again, it may remain unmanifest for billions of years. How long, we don't know. So what they use is kalpa. Again, the entire world comes forth. So this dissolution and creation has been going on forever. So he is referring to that. And exactly same thing is happening to you and me. I mean, it becomes easy if we take our own life as reference. So during daytime, we all are bristling with activity. Vasanas are manifest. But day is followed by the night. So vasanas, they go into unmanifest form. So whatever X amount of time we sleep, they remain, vasanas remain unmanifest. Again, they manifest during daytime. Again, the whole thing is bristling with activity. So day is followed by night, night is followed by the day. So one kalpa is followed by another kalpa, that kalpa is followed by another kalpa. So this cycle is going on for forever. So Krishna, or the Supreme Reality, is taking full responsibility of the creation. I bring forth everything, this world. And again, the whole thing falls back into me. So that is verse number 7. Verse number 8.
प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात् प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात्.
Translation: animating my own prakriti, nature, I bring forth again and again all this multitude of beings, helpless by the force of prakriti. Underline that word, helpless by the force of prakriti. So like in verse number 7, in this verse also is taking full responsibility of the creation. That's the thought flow. And there are a couple of examples which will help us to understand the concept. See, as long as there is ocean, automatically it produces waves. That's the prakriti, that's the nature of the ocean. Any ocean in the world is a large body of water. So ocean automatically produces waves due to its vastness. That's its nature. But in a small body of water, there are no waves. See, I live in West Bloomfield. Many of you are in Bloomfield Hills. So we are surrounded by so many lakes. Like Orchard Lake is just 5 minutes from my house. It's a huge lake. Maybe it takes half an hour to go from one end to the other, but there are no waves. But in ocean, there are waves. It's so vast. But the same water, you go on a cruise, you bring a bucket full of water, you keep in your garden, there are no waves. So the nature, the prakriti of ocean is to produce waves. The second example we give is of a rope and a snake. So this is more, it fits into this verse. So the non-apprehension or non-understanding of rope produces the misunderstanding of a snake. We often give this example, isn't it? There is a rope and boy mistakes that rope for a snake. So the non-understanding, you can use the word non-apprehension. Non-apprehension of rope produces the misapprehension of a snake or something similar to snake. There's a crack in the earth, there is a cable lying there. So the interesting part is the potential of non-apprehension of a rope lies in the rope. It is inherent in the rope. As long as rope is there, rope is existing, there is a potential of not understanding rope as a rope. And when you do not understand rope as a rope, it is misunderstood for a snake or something similar, isn't it? So as long as anything exists, there is a potential of not understanding it as it is. So that potential of not understanding that object as it is lies in that object itself. It is inherent in any object. So therefore he says, helpless by the force of Prakriti. So there is Brahman, there is supreme reality. Supreme reality alone exists. There is nothing else. But that supreme reality, Brahman, can be misunderstood as this pluralistic world, which is happening to all of us. So non-apprehension of Brahman, non-apprehension of supreme reality produces the misapprehension of the pluralistic world in which we are completely caught up. So that potential of not understanding Brahman as Brahman lies in what? If you understand this, rest is very, that's the main message here. Just as the potential of not understanding rope as a rope lies in the rope, the potential of not understanding boulder as a boulder. You've gone hiking in the Smokies. It is full of bears. People have told you, watch out for bear warnings. So you see a boulder and you project a bear. So the potential of not understanding boulder as a boulder lies in the boulder. It is inherent in the boulder. So that's what we are saying. The potential of not understanding any object as it is inherent in that object itself. So similarly, the potential of not understanding Brahman as Brahman, supreme reality as supreme reality, God as God, to use layman's language, lies in what?
Brahman.
Lies in Brahman itself. So therefore, he is taking the responsibility. I mean, I don't blame you, he's saying. I mean, it is not your fault that I can be misunderstood as this pluralistic world of objects and beings. And that capacity of not understanding Brahman as Brahman lies in me. So don't worry. You know, so it's sort of he's giving us that comfort. So now if you read the translation, it makes sense. Animating my own Prakriti, I bring forth again and again all this multitude of beings, helpless by the force of Prakriti. So try to learn these words. We often use these words, non-apprehension and misapprehension. So those who have been attending these classes for a long time, they are familiar with these words. So non-apprehension, meaning non-understanding. Non-apprehension of rope produces the misapprehension of a Charu. I can
Snake.
see your
Snake.
lips moving.
Snake.
Yeah, repeat what I said just now.
The non-apprehension of rope leads to the misapprehension of a snake.
Perfect. So that potential of not understanding rope as a rope lies in what? Charu.
In the rope itself.
Excellent. Last week I drove her from Vedanta Academy to meet Swamiji. So therefore our concepts are very clear. This is what we are discussing, isn't it? Rope and a snake in the car. Not really. We were like admiring nature. It's like Western Ghats monsoon. I mean, amazing, breathtaking beauty. So non-apprehension and misapprehension. These two words we learn. So non-apprehension of Brahman, supreme reality, produces what? Open to the class. Non-apprehension of Brahman. Brahman is a Sanskrit word for supreme reality. Non-apprehension of supreme reality produces the fantastic misapprehension of what?
Pluralistic world.
Pluralistic world of objects and beings.
Objects.
So that capacity of not understanding Brahman as Brahman lies in what?
Brahman.
Brahman.
Brahman itself. So that's the message. So therefore he says, helpless by the force of Prakriti, meaning that inherent capacity lies in me. This Bhagavad Gita is poetry. Once we analyze and explain, it makes sense. So 7 and 8, he takes full responsibility for the creation. And from verse number 9, he starts withdrawing. He soft pedals the whole thing. Verse number 9, please.
न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु.
Translation. Nor do these acts, O Dhananjaya, or Arjuna, bind me, remaining like one unconcerned and unattached. Note these two words. Udasinavat, unconcerned. Asaktam, unattached. So these acts do not bind me, remaining like one unconcerned and unattached to those acts. So he's referring to verse number 7 and 8. So supreme reality or Atman, we use that word when it comes to individual, is same. So God principle or Atman is Sakshi, so mere witness. It is not bound by actions. Refer to verse number 7 and 8 of emanation and dissolution of beings. So it's like there are millions and millions of waves in the ocean. They born in the ocean, they exist in the ocean, the waves. They dissolve into the ocean, but ocean is not affected by that. It does not affect the existence of ocean. Sometimes when there is a tornado or there are massive waves, but next day it could be absolutely calm. So the ocean was always calm and composed. So what happened to all those massive waves? Doesn't make any difference to the waves. It's just Sakshi is happening at the surface level. Another example we often give is that of petrol, which is very powerful example. So petrol is a Sakshi of any type of driving. There are good drivers, there are bad drivers, but you cannot blame petrol for good driving or bad driving, isn't it? But without petrol, no car, no vehicle in the world can function. So if you reach your destination safely, yes, because of petrol only you can reach. But you can't say, thank you, petrol, for bringing me home safe. Or if you meet with an accident, maybe if you have a flat tire, you cannot curse petrol. Because of you, I met with an accident. So petrol is Sakshi, petrol is neutral. But without petrol, no vehicle can function. So due to God principle in you, body, mind, intellect is functioning. You cannot perceive with your senses. By perceive, we mean eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. These are organs of perception with which you perceive. But what you perceive, God principle does not decide that. You have that choice. Without God principle, you cannot feel emotions. But whether to entertain good emotions or bad emotions, God principle is neutral. Similarly, with the intellect, you can entertain the most biased thoughts or most noble thoughts. So God principle has got absolutely nothing to do with it. But without God principle, body, mind, intellect cannot function. So therefore, we give petrol example. Without petrol, no vehicle in the world can function. But how that vehicle is driven depends on the driver, the power of the engine. So therefore, he says, I am unconcerned and unattached to these actions. Udasinavat, like one unconcerned. Asaktam, unattached. Opposite of this is always concerned and always attached or possessive about what you are doing in life. So that's the philosophical explanation. To the extent you identify with the God principle in you, Atman in you, the divinity in you, you become unconcerned, unattached, meaning not moved by the external fluctuations of the world. See, otherwise you are moved by what is happening. If something joyous happens, something good happens, you start jumping with joy. When something unpleasant happens, you may sink with sorrow, isn't it? Also, no past hang-ups, no anxiety for the future, no claim for the fruit of action. I'm trying to explain the word unconcerned, unattached. How you can practice this, or to the extent you are established in this knowledge, to that extent, automatically you will function in this way. This is a test, it's a powerful test. That to what extent are you established in the spiritual path? So, no past hang-ups, no anxiety for the future. Also, there is no claim for the fruit of action, meaning you do what you ought to do to the best of your ability throughout your life, at any given moment in your life. See, right now, what are you doing? You're listening, right? In this class, you're listening to the knowledge of the scriptures. So what is unattached and unconcerned? So you just listen to the best of your ability without bringing your biases. It's not easy. Good many people, they bring their biases, their ego. Oh, I know this. Oh, I know. I think that's the concept. You just listen with humility. Also, you're told to study and reflect every day in the morning, right? No anxiety, no attachment to the fruit of action. Will I improve? Will I improve? A lot of time people, I hear this from people. I'm not saying they are wrong, but then you're concerned. You're attached, you're possessive about your own growth. The moment you become anxious, the moment you become attached to your growth, you will not grow. It's a law of life. Same attitude at home and at work. You do your obligatory duties in a spirit of renunciation to the best of your ability and get out. So where is that and where are you and me? Yes, most of you are doing your duties, but what's the attitude? Tremendously concerned. If it applies to you. If it doesn't apply to you, don't take it. Somebody may say, no, I mean, I'm udasinavat, I'm unattached. No, great. But I don't know. 70-80% of us, it applies. Tremendously concerned, about whatever you do. Children, what will happen to children? Do your duties as a parent. How can you not do it? And get out. Why are you hanging on to them unnecessarily? Why are you being possessive? Same attitude at work. Just do what you ought to do to the best of your ability. And then you take that stance, one unconcerned and unattached, having performed actions. If you don't do anything, that is tamas, that is laziness. He is not talking about that. So you are bristling with action. You're doing your duties to the best of your ability in all facets of your life. And then you take this stance. So I mean, don't take it literally. Like, your company has given you a project. You work hard for 3 months, 4 months, full of challenges and whatnot. And you try your level best. And once the project is over, you take 8 days Antarctica cruise. Don't take it literally. You may do that, and just sitting on the deck, having glass of orange juice, unconcerned, unattached. So you're done your level best. So that attitude is talking about. Similarly, when it comes to your spiritual sadhana means spiritual practice, you do what you ought to do. Study, reflect every day. Don't be biased. Be humble. This is what all the scriptures they are telling us. So if you do all that, why are you concerned about your growth? Will I become a wise person? This is how chapter 9 starts. I'm going to give you knowledge along with wisdom. Jnanam with jnanam sahitam. Will I become a wise man? Will I be able to apply this in my day-to-day life? If you do your duties, why are you concerned? So you do whatever you have to do. It goes without saying. And then you take that stance. You're unconcerned. You're least attached to the outcome of the action. So it's a typical sign of spiritual growth. See, otherwise I may feel I'm evolved. You may feel you're evolved. Why? For last 28 years, I'm studying Vedanta. You are studying Vedanta for maybe last 5 years, 7 years. Per se, it means nothing. This is the test. So if you pass this test, 100% if you pass this test, then you're an enlightened person. So therefore, I say to the extent you are established in this knowledge, the knowledge of higher values, to that extent you will develop this attitude in whatever you do in life, in all facets of life. You may face the greatest challenge at home, at work, wherever. So you do your level best. It goes without saying. You use your intellect and function. Try to navigate through that challenge or a situation to the best of your ability. But inside you are unconcerned and unattached. So that is the philosophical explanation. And then verse number 10, the total change in the stance.
मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते.
Verse 10 translation. By me presiding, Prakriti, nature, produces the moving and the unmoving, objects and beings, the world. Because of this, O Kaunteya, O Arjuna, the world revolves. So total change in the stance. He says, I got absolutely nothing to do with creation. Rope has got nothing to do with the snake, because there is no snake in the rope. Yes, rope is the substratum of the snake. There is no doubt about that. But there is no snake in the world. You understand that? So similarly, Brahman or Supreme Reality is the substratum of the world. But Supreme Reality has got absolutely nothing to do with the world, because there is no world in Supreme Reality. Rope and a snake example is very simple. Actually, there is no snake in the rope. Is there a snake in the rope? So I've been repeating this example for the last few weeks. Is there a snake in the rope?
No.
There is no snake in the rope. Is there a bear in the boulder? You and I may see, that is different, but actually, is there a bear in the boulder?
No.
No. So similarly, you and I are experiencing the pluralistic world of objects and beings. That is our experience. No doubt, this illusion, this projection is superimposed on the Brahman, the Supreme Reality. But actually, there is no world in Brahman. So don't blame Supreme Reality, don't blame Brahman. Because of you, I am seeing the world. From the standpoint of Brahman, there is no world. So if you see the world, if you are caught up in the world, you are enmeshed in the world, if you're entangled in the world, if world is harassing you, whatever way, it is your problem. In truth, there is no world in Brahman. Though it is a substratum, Brahman is a substratum of the world. So this technique of instilling subtle knowledge through easy steps is called as Arunadhati Nyaya. It's in the book. I mean, don't worry about all these words. If you read Swamiji's translation, you will find that word. So therefore, we keep on saying the least you can do is get hold of the book. So it's called as Arundhati Nyaya. So where a husband is educating his wife step by step about the star. The star cannot be seen. It's like a tiny little star when it is bright. So it takes help of so many props, like a tree, the branch of a tree, and the twig and the leaf. And then she is able to see the star. So that technique of instilling subtle knowledge through easy steps from gross to subtle is called as Arundhati Nyaya. See, straight away he does not say, I got nothing to do with it. Because you and I are experiencing what? See, that's the greatness of these masters. For them, world does not exist. But what is our experience? What is my experience? What is your experience?
It's the world.
I mean, we are experiencing the world. I mean, how can you say no? So straight away he does not say what world. There is nothing. If you're seeing something, it is your problem. You will not understand. So he says, yes, yes, no, I am responsible. No, I only created this world. I only created all these objects and beings of the world. Same thing Bible also says, Noah's Ark, the 2 zebras, 2 horses, everything 2, 2, 2, 2. But same Bible, it says, in the end, it says, Father and Son are one. You get the point. The Father and Son are one. Son meaning the world. Father is supreme reality. Actually, there is no Son. There is only Father in heaven, but does not say in the beginning. And goes with us. Okay, there are 2 pigeons, there are 2 sparrows, there are 2 this. Then it says, I got nothing to do with this creation. So he takes full responsibility. To begin with, I generate beings because you and I are experiencing the world. You get the point. Then he slowly withdraws. He says, I'm kind of neutral. I just animate them. I don't have that big a role to play in this creation. And then in the end, he says, I got nothing to do with creation. It's your madness which is producing this world. Why are you blaming me? So these masters, they have tremendous patience in educating us. See, look at their level. I mean, what world? So much fuss about, this problem, that problem, or this pleasure, that pleasure, my acquisition, my enjoyment, my knowledge, my spiritual growth. It's all my. That my does not exist, that world does not exist. That's their subjective experience. But they come to our level and slowly they are trying to educate us step by step. So that's the reason Bhagavad Gita is compared to a mother, isn't it? Amba. Any mother in the world has that quality, that tremendous patience. Opposite of father. Father will start screaming and yelling, mother will, okay, wait. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita or scriptures, they are compared to a mother. In the physics class, straight away you can't teach E is equal to mc square. Or in the mathematics class, straight away you can't start teaching calculus. I'm sure most of you, those who have done engineering, they must have done calculus, right? How we study mathematics, 1 plus 1 is 2. That is where we start, isn't it? Then we start multiplying. Okay, 2 by 2 is what? 4. And then in the end, you study subtle mathematics. So that's the concept here. In fact, Swamiji has written the whole book on this concept. It's called as Thesis on God. So those who have done e-learning, they will know what I am talking about. So step by step, he starts with the basics and takes you to the highest. So we'll take that book maybe in 2027 or 28 when the time comes. That's the reason Swamiji wrote Vedanta treatise. Why he wrote that book? Because straight away you cannot plunge into the study of the scriptures. This is what most people are doing. It's not their fault because there is no systematic and methodic explanation of any scripture available in the world. Yes, scriptures declare the ultimate truth, whether it is Gita, whether it is Bible, any scripture. But it is for a very high quality seeker. Most people, 99%, are not capable of understanding that. But due to the devotion, the faith, they sincerely try to study, but the outcome is not that great because they flout this fundamental principle of you have to go from gross to the subtle concept. So that is where that book Vedanta Treatise scores. So we have already done that book once or twice, right? Yeah, so there is a plan to take it up in either end of 26 or beginning of 2027. So if you last till then, you will get to study that book. But good many of you have already studied that book. Those are doing e-learning. Even we had classes, in-person classes for that book. So do you get the thought flow now? So verse number 7 and 8, what is happening?
Supreme reality taking the responsibility of creation.
The full responsibility. I generate beings. I create this world. In verse number 9, what stance it takes?
That takes partial responsibility.
Excellent. And verse number 10,
No
That-
responsibility.
Absolutely.
zero responsibility. Why zero responsibility?
Because Brahman only exists.
So are we okay with this thought flow? Verse number 7 to 10. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, it may not relate specifically to these passages, but with regard to renunciation, so an athlete, let's take a famous tennis player or something like that.
Right.
A lot of time their success, it seems to come from their ego or their attachment to themselves. Am I thinking correctly that like Krishna's trying to teach Arjuna to not take that path and that we should not take that path as well?
See, even to win a match, you need attitude of renunciation. Otherwise, you will not win. Any player. I mean, recently we had finals. It was Wimbledon, right? Who won?
Sinner,
Yeah, Renaud. And who was supposed to win?
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz. See, so I didn't see that match, but a lot of people, they mentioned to me, so obsessed with winning. It happens every major tournament. The moment any player becomes possessive about winning, he or she loses his game. So therefore, to win a match, a player who is relatively detached, he wins. So that's, I mean, unconsciously they are practicing. One match which I saw many years back, I often talk about it, is Rafael versus Nadal, French Open. I don't know, 8-10 years back. And that time Rafael was superior to Nadal. But the way he lost the match, Rafael, as if he cannot play tennis. 6-2, 6-2, 6-2, something like that. I mean, we all were disappointed. The whole crowd was supporting. I don't know for whatever reasons. Everybody's saying Rafael, Rafael. Nobody was supporting Nadal. And then they interviewed, took interview. I mean, Rafael. What happened? 5 minutes he could not talk. Like a child, he was sobbing. And then in the end, he said, I saw so much support from the crowd. Everybody chanting my name, Rafael, Rafael. So I did not want to disappoint them. And I lost my game. This is psychology. Apply this any facet of life. You just do what you ought to do if you are working in a corporate project. But if you become obsessed about the result of your action, you will lose the action. Your mind will become agitated. So therefore, if you want to be successful in whatever you do in life, you have to have this attitude of renunciation. You do what you ought to do. Action is must. But that spirit of renunciation in action, if you do not do that, if you do not practice that spirit of renunciation in action, your mind becomes mentally agitated. Worries of the past, anxiety for the future. This is what happens. And when that happens with mentally agitated mind, the quality of your present action suffers. And when the quality of present action suffers, obviously the result suffers. So this is a law of life, applies in any facet of life.
What role ego plays in winning or losing a match?
Renunciation is renunciation of ego.
Okay.
I want to win. I want to win. Finished.
Okay.
Just play up the game. Lords, that's the slogan. Those who follow cricket in London, Lords Stadium, their slogan is play up the game. Can you Google and find out whether I'm saying it correctly? When you quote, we should quote correctly. That's the actual slogan. It's written there. Has anybody seen that? Cricket lovers?
Play up, and play the game.
Play up.
And play the game.
Doesn't matter who wins, who loses. So only when you play with this attitude, incidentally, you may win and you'll be happy. So play up the game. You can note it down. So are we okay with these 4 verses?
Amitji, just a quick question on
Yeah.
verse 9. He says in that, nor do these acts, O Dhananjaya, bind me, remaining like one unconcerned. Why is the word like used, Amitji? Instead of just saying like one, instead of saying remaining unconcerned and unattached to these acts, is there a significance for using the word like one unconcerned?
No, because if you didn't use that word unconcerned, unattached, you will not act.
Yes. Okay.
You are acting, you are dynamic, full of energy and action, but your inner stance is that of you're unconcerned, unattached. You just do what you ought to do. That is where it is misunderstood. People just take it unconcerned, unattached. And what are you doing? Nothing. It doesn't mean that. You are bristling with action everywhere. At physical level, you're active. But at mental level, you're absolutely calm and composed. Your body is engaged in action. But mind and intellect is worry-free. There is no anxiety. There is no worry. That sense of renunciation in action. So that's what it means, that word like.
Like.
What means like? All right, so there are a few announcements before we conclude.
We will have the unique opportunity to listen to a 7-part lecture series on the Ishavasya Upanishad taught by Amitji. This series begins on Sunday, August 10th and ends Sunday, September 21st. It is from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And for those attending from India, it's from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday evenings. It will be a hybrid model with class both in person and online. You would have received an email with the registration details and also a WhatsApp message through the community announcement. For the in-person classes, they will be held in Troy, Michigan, and if you choose to attend, do send us an email to the study class at vedantamidwest.org so we can send you the location of the class. It would be wonderful if you have this opportunity to attend in person, as it is an Upanishad lecture series. So this is also an excellent opportunity to introduce this knowledge to your contacts. Please share the information with your friends, family, and anyone who might be interested. The next event will be a retreat in Catskills. The annual September Catskills retreat will be held in upstate New York. It is from September 26th to September 28th. And the topic is Select Verses from Kaivalya Upanishad. You will receive information about the retreat via email next week. Registration is open for adults 16 and above. There are limited spots and it fills up soon. So if you're interested to attend, you have to book your spot. This is also an excellent opportunity to withdraw and learn this knowledge with like-minded students. Many of us who have attended these retreats have benefited from it. So please note these events and look for the emails. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amitji.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Amiji.
Amiji.
Thank you, Amitji.
Thank you.